Welcome to Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. In the realm of open source, a radiant sphere, where creativity and freedom appear, a community of coders, their strength to share. Crafting software in the open air, boundaries and limits, there are none. For all can join and become someone, with passion and collaboration, we stun. Forging wonders that can never be outdone. From vast web servers to operating systems bright, open source potential, a beacon of light. For progress and innovation, shining with might. Creating a future that's eternally bright. Let's embrace open source, hearts wide. Setting us apart with transparency and trust beside. Technology as a force for good, we confide. A work of art, with open source as our guide. Open source entails software, apps, and projects free, their source code available for all to see. Collaborative efforts shaping their decree, a decentralized, communal, coding spree. Key to open source, granting users the right to view, modify, and distribute with delight, aiding developers' endless flight towards software that's open, with prospects so bright. In recent years, open source has soared, with major products, its presence adored. Linux, Apache, Python, all explored, exemplifying what open source has stored. Here are 10 realms of open source might. There are many areas of open source, but here are 10 examples. 1. Operating systems. Open source operating systems like Linux provide an alternative to proprietary operating systems like Windows and Mac OS. 2. Web servers. The Apache Web Server is an open source project that powers a large portion of the world's websites. 3. Content management systems. Open source CMS platforms like WordPress and Drupal allow users to easily create and manage websites. 4. Office productivity software. LibreOffice is an open source alternative to Microsoft Office that includes word processing, spreadsheet, and presentation software. 5. Graphics and design. GIMP is an open source image editing program that provides an alternative to Adobe Photoshop. 6. Programming languages. Open source programming languages like Python and JavaScript are widely used for web development, data science, and more. 7. Database management systems. MySQL and PostgreSQL are popular open source database management systems that can be used to store and manage large amounts of data. 8. DevOps tools. Open source DevOps tools like Jenkins and Ansible are used to automate software development and deployment processes. Ansible is an open source, command line IT automation software application written in Python. It can configure systems, deploy software, and orchestrate advanced workflows to support application deployment, system updates, and more. 9. Internet of Things, IoT. Open source IoT platforms like Eclipse IoT and Home Assistant provide tools and frameworks for building and managing IoT devices and applications. 10. Artificial intelligence and machine learning. Open source AI and machine learning frameworks like TensorFlow and Scikit-learn provide powerful tools for building intelligent applications and analyzing data. Scikit-learn is an open source data analysis library, and the gold standard for machine learning, ML, in the Python ecosystem. Key concepts and features include algorithmic decision-making methods, including classification, identifying and categorizing data based on patterns. Here are 10 examples of open source organizations or companies. 1. Apache Software Foundation, a nonprofit organization that supports open source software projects, including the Apache Web Server. 2. Mozilla Foundation, a nonprofit organization that develops open source software, including the Firefox web browser. 3. Red Hat, a software company that specializes in open source technology and provides enterprise support for Linux. 4. Canonical, a company that develops and supports the Ubuntu Linux distribution, which is based on open source software. 5. Docker, a company that develops open source containerization technology for application deployment and management. 6. GitHub, a web-based platform that provides tools for collaborative software development using open source principles. 7. GitLab, a company that provides a web-based platform for managing and collaborating on software projects, with a focus on open source. 8. OpenAI, a nonprofit research organization that develops and promotes open source AI technology. 9. Linux Foundation, a nonprofit organization that supports the development of open source software, including the Linux operating system. 10. Wikimedia Foundation, a nonprofit organization that operates the Wikipedia online encyclopedia and other open source projects that promote free knowledge. In conclusion, open source's impact is vast, empowering users with freedom unsurpassed. From software domains, it forever shall last. A collaborative force, a realm so vast. Whether a developer, student, or someone in quest, open source beckons, a powerful crest. High-quality software, without cost behest. Join an open source project and put yourself to the test. See you there. Much appreciation to you for giving of your time with us at Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. We trust you will come back soon.